Hi there, it's Collect Yourself with Julia Lechbinska. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our new series, and today we are in the studio of Luo Mingjun. Thank you so much for having us here today, and we are now in Biel, when the sun is shining, the skies are blue, and Magnolia tree is blossoming behind the window. So could you please tell us when was that moment when you decided to start painting Magnolia tree? Was it also one morning? Because I know that for a long time you refused to paint.
Yes, it takes time because once I did a drawing about a rose, and one gallerist from Bern told me, "Oh, Mingjun, don't do flower, because in Europe, because of the woman never paint the flowers, it's not good." So I stopped. I say, "Okay, I will never do flowers." Because before my studio is on the top of the house. Yeah. And I don't see the flowers. I just see the flowers when I come down. And after it's getting smaller for me, I decided to take this floor for my studio. So I come down, and the springtime, this Magnolia start to cold me. It's like it's all from,
it was irresistible.
Yes, everywhere is him. And is even my studio become a rose color. So I saw that it's so pretty, but I still don't want to paint them because I remember should not paint a flower. But I took the photo. I put the photo in the social medium, and the one Chinese artist told me, the Magnolia is come from China. I said, it's come from China. In this time, I started to look at him. I say, it's incredible. Everybody told me our Magnolia is the most beautiful Magnolia in this city. Yeah, that's true. He is nearly 100 years. I think it's 100 years old.
So it was planted by
by the proprietor of this house. And when we bought the house, the Magnolia already there. So when I land, he come also from China, and just beside of me, and I'm there, and I come also from China. So I said.
So you found this concept of duality in Magnolia, and that's how it started.
And I think he come from China, I also come from China, but he will be stay longer than me. I will pass my way. He's still there. So I did start, it's called I Pass the Way from yours beside of you. I did all the series of Magnolia. Yes.
Identity is a very critical, maybe notion for all your work. You always refer to identity or this duality of yourself because you were born in China, you were raised in China, you did also your academic education, and then you moved to Switzerland.
I did all my studying with European art. I get a dream at it. But when I arrived in Switzerland, I saw all this really work in the museum.
Okay.
And I recognized, my God, I will never arrive their quality. And in the same time, have Swiss artists or Swiss people ask me, why you do our art? I never think it is their art. I never think ink is my art, oil painting is their art. For me, it's only art. So this question coming, that's true. Why? And in this time, I start to look back of my culture. And also say, that's a kind of painting I would never arrive at this quality. And what I do, of course, I arrive is in Europe is contemporary art time, and I also did it in China. It's just because I love painting, so I still continue to paint. But this question comes, it's like shaking me. Yeah. So what I should do?
And then you said like, okay, I have to do my art now. I have to rediscover my roots.
And make me think about nearly 2 years. I stopped, don't work. I read. Yes.
Was it the time when you start to work with calligraphy and work with the books of Laozi?
Yes, that's a little bit after, but during 2 years, I just read. I just read, and tried draw a little bit Chinese art with ink.
Okay.
But the calligraphy or Laozi really use in my work is about 90s. Means because I arrived 87, and of 87. So during 2 years, I just visiting.
Just absorbed everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
And read and thinking. Of course, I worked a little bit, but not important.
But also it's interesting that in art historical discourse, if we look back, that many Chinese artists, especially the artists who were in diaspora, so living in the States or in Paris, they've been working with the calligraphy. So, and everyone was using calligraphy, like this traditional art. They were using that in different Art und Weise, like in different way. And you developed your own technique independently from all these people, from all these artists.
Yes.
You developed your own technique. Can you please tell what was it?
I think one day should have somebody studying especially for that.
Yes.
Because why all these Chinese people, especially Xu Bing is the most knowest. And I think it's because we lost many things, but the calligraphy never lost. It's all around us from our childish.
Yeah.
So that's the things we can carry with us. And also the calligraphy is close for the language.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially for me, arriving a country like Switzerland, they talk already 3 different languages. And I have to learn one of the language. It's confusing for me. The English already very difficult for me. And now
you're doing great. You're doing fantastic.
I have to learn French again. And in the street, they talk Swiss German here. So calligraphy is writing and is my language because I read it. I can speak it. So that's why makes the first things make us to compare with this. So it's also in the same time what we do with our baggage. In the same time, it's our language. In the same time, it's our culture. Because I never think a lot. Maybe the Arab, they have this same problem like a Chinese, but a lot of language. They never have this baggage problem like us. In the same time, it's the language we talk. In the same time, it's our culture. It's our art. Yeah. So, as artists, we carry this both. So we have to do something, I guess.
When did this started? When you started to break the characters from itself? You know, like you started to paint just like the radicals. Like separately? I
did that just after I copied the Laozi on the wall in Kunsthalle Biel. It's called now Kunsthalle Biel. I have a wall, a room. I copy just directly as calligraphy. I copied the Taoists on the wall. Of course, the first things, everybody asks me what mean. I mean, in this moment, I lost my word. I don't know how to explain all this word. And already for myself, it's difficult to understand everything. And now I have to translate everything to the people. So what I did, I looking for in tradition, I found a book, I copy, and I did a copy French. I think it's French. And I did put it in the exposition. And in this moment, and then finally, I start to think, could I do something that people don't need to ask me what mean, but the beauty is still there. Oh. So this I start to try. My work is called the broke the Chinese character. Now we think it's a question of identity. It's because I broke myself into Switzerland. But in this time, I don't think it's so far. It's really, I want to do something that people understand me, feel my calligraphy, but don't need to ask me what mean. Because when I write calligraphy, I just look at the beauty. I don't really to take care anymore if what exactly mean. So I want to give this feeling to the audience in here.
Why did you face the work of Laozi? Why did it have a special philosophical meaning for you? That's a book which is important for Taoism, right?
Yes. I must honestly say, during all my young age time, I know Laozi, but I never read him.
Okay.
I mean...
was it not compulsory in the school? Or?
During the high school, don't have. You just cannot find it in the market. It's don't allow to read all these things. And after in university, when I go do art, I'm impressed by European art. I just leave all this Chinese tradition away. And it's after, during these 2 years I read, I start to close my culture, if I say. And in this I found it very interesting, if I don't understand all, but I found it very, very interesting. Also, where the region I come, in my childish time, we are more very close Taoism. And in my memory, when the people married or die, they have the Taos coming to dance, to sing. So it's more close, of course.
For you, it was understandable.
Yes.
And now you're doing another work with calligraphy in Venice. The Venice Biennale is approaching. And can you tell me a bit more what you do also a performance there, right?
Yes, I'm surprising. I did this work, broke Chinese character, have small successful in Bern in one gallery, exposed, have people bought. I'm happy. But with this kind of work, I never go to more far away. I asked it's called the prize of Swiss art prize. I never get it. So after 7 years, I started a lot of work. So this I keep it in my rest of work. I never see them anymore. Finally, in 2021, I get an invitation from Museum of Art and History of Neuchâtel. Invite me for expose with 3 a lot of artists, and they chose all the series of work.
These were all the works on paper, right?
Yeah, and I also did a lot. It's a big show, and so it's more than 30 years. I opened again and exposed. And it's available. I'm very happy to see it. And they did the catalogs. And I guess, as the catalog written in Italian,
yes,
I think is discovered by curators from Venice.
Oh, okay.
And she saw that, and she liked it. She contacted me if I could show this in Venice, in Corre Museum. And of course, I'm happy. And so they will show 15 pieces. Mm-hmm. It's about every piece about 35 to 35. Okay. The title of this show is called The Way of Writing. And I will do a performance in the evening of the opening. It's 23 of April. And I don't think I will write something. Mm-hmm. Because in the end, I'm not a calligrapher. Yes. I'm an artist. Calligraphy is part of my life. It's part of my culture. but I use calligraphy in my artwork. I'm not a specially artist, only calligraphy. The calligraphy only is a object for me to do
To
art.
express, yeah.
So I immediately told the curatrice, she's also artist, she will also expose in this show. I say, can you do this performance with me?
Yeah.
I think it's more interesting we do together. So
Interesting.
So we do together this performance. We talked. We decide that we do the how to say the gest, how to the way to wrote, but we don't need wrote even really character, but the way we wrote. And it's interesting. We discuss. We say everyone hold one when another one to draw. So it's I hold this to when she draw and she hold. It's like we help each other. So the title, I cannot remember English exactly. It's called means the past the border. It's no border anymore.
And there will be other artists, other nationalities, right?
And the performance only or two.
Yeah. Okay.
The evening. So it's like no border. Is we try to pass the border. We help each other. That's but by art. Yeah. And in the end, we will put all what we're doing. We will see how it is. We propose, we roll the paper protection of the floor because it's a very delicate museum. We have to protect with the paper on the floor. We will be very big. So we roll. We try to do a form of the paper on the road as a boat, and all our drawing in the middle. Light it. Like
you used to make a boat earlier before.
Yes.
Can you please tell me what kind of paper was it? That was a paper boat?
When we neared the 2000, we saw a lot of people say, oh, the world will be crushed and we have everything going to follow down. So in this way, I thought I will do something with this idea. It was also in the Queen style of Saint-Bill, have a space called free space, it's called. So as I work with languages, as explained, languages, and I also work with different languages because I broke Chinese character, it's a question of language. So I bought or talked or asked the people, gave me as possible as the different newspaper from the world. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you can find that in kiosk in Switzerland, or some people bring to me. So I try to get, I can't remember how many languages, but 200 pieces newspaper from the world. I link them together with a Chinese technique for all Chinese painting, and I build a paper boat, and I called an Arche Noël. I don't know how English.
Arch of Noah.
Yes. It's kind of acoustic. The world arrived 2000. We were going to have a new center. Do we have an arch to save as a long time before?
But what were you trying to save? Were you trying to save people, animals, or the words, actually, the whole written culture that we have?
Because in the time, the Bible to say animals, every people in this boat. Today, how we do with all these people? So, is what can save us? So nothing can save. Communication, because newspaper can we save is a paper, but it's not a full paper, really boat. So that's I try to. I think art can never give a real solution. We just put the question for the people, think about it.
Yeah. Cool. maybe I would love to come back again to Neuchâtel and to the performance or to an artwork which resulted out of that. We discussed it a bit earlier, the story of a paper which you executed in during the COVID time, and that was also a work of identity of you, like moving in between like Swiss and Chinese identity, but it was a completely different spirit, a completely different atmosphere of that work. So it was not this like violence, of breaking up the character, not the violence of putting the thread or like the needle through the apple or whatsoever. That was a peaceful nap, let's say like this, under the tree of yourself, under a blanket. And it was a very special blanket, right?
Yes, this blanket is my ink work also.
Yeah.
And it's called a break up. A lot of ink on this paper. A lot of paper, I put ink and become a big, big paper. I take this paper with me everywhere sometimes. And when I got this invitation in Neuchâtel, Museum of Neuchâtel, they exposed my past work 30 years ago. And today, my relationship with Chinese ink paper is not the same anymore. And I told them I want one room to expose what happened today, how my relationship today with my ink, with my paper. So for this papering, I did this photograph. Of course, if don't have COVID, maybe it would be different. But finally, the COVID, 3 months, we cannot move. And but we can go to the mountain. So I ask my husband and my son, they took photo, and I take with that. I say, I want to do a photo with me, what happened with me in Switzerland. Because until now, I only have Swiss passport. So because I don't have Chinese passport, I cannot go back to Switzerland. So the only country which I really can stay, COVID make me understand I cannot go everywhere, Switzerland. So it's my country. But I'm still come from China. China is important. So I cannot 100% to be a Swiss. So that's why I carry this blanket on me. I sleep in a tray. It's called a et in French, big tray. I sleep in there with the forest behind, like all this story of a forest in which from European story.
Right in Redwood.
And lot.
Yeah.
And also myself, because Switzerland is a forest country and the north everywhere is tree. The tree is important. In the same time, the paper made by tree, me sleeping with the tree, but I just sleep in it. I'm not
hibernating
or with the tree become the rose there. I just sleep in there.
So taking a pause.
Yes. I don't know. I never know what is going to happen after if I wake up.
There is another very beautiful series which I'm a big fan of, which you realized during the COVID time, is the water series. And if you could tell me a bit more how it happened that you started to paint the water in your technique, yes, in this monochromic technique, but what was the impulse and where are you heading with this?
Now I'm thinking I paint already water before, but not the way thinking during the as I do now after the COVID. Just before COVID, I was did a traveling in Greece, in Crete, the island.
Yeah. Yes.
And in this time, a lot of refugees come from Africa with the boat. And I was in the boat, in the beach, And the people told me another side is Africa. And the sea, I never see the sea so heavy, so blue deep in the time, beauty in the time make me afraid. I was wondering if I'm this refugee, what I'm doing in this sea. That's during all the traveling, I'm thinking that.
That's amazing, because the works which I saw, the large triptychs, okay, the one is the wave, but now that the column one be water, you don't see it. It's like sunshine, like very quiet sea. And for me personally, it brought a lot of childhood memories, when I was like a little kid on summer camp,
Okay.
and because you see all this light, which is popping up, and you feel actually comfortable. You don't think about the problems of today.
Yeah, the thinking is, but after everything, when the people dies,
It's again
quiet. But in this quiet is life. We are all beer water. So that might be why you feel that, because this really I did during the COVID. Is during the 3 months, I really painted during the 3 months. Of course, I did a lot of work. You see in my studio, this side, I do the big drawing. Here I do small drawing. And this water is in this side. Okay. So I have time. Every day I paint a little bit. Sometimes I stopped 1 week, I don't paint. I do a lot of work. But during 3 months, I finish this work. It's during the COVID time, because the emotion is in Greek, like that, but in the studio, and the people dies. In the same time, you say, in sometimes it's the life. It's very, very, it's a strange feeling. The dies sometimes can be a beauty. It's the people don't pain for anymore. It's a kind of very mixed feeling.
But the answers to that, or like some understanding for that, you find in Taoism. In order to understand the cycles of life. That life comes and that it goes. That to find the beauty in this life, where do you search the answers for? Is it art? Is it like, observing the nature, or is it reading some philosophical texts? Where is it for you?
I think it's maybe because I'm Chinese, maybe. If you ask this question, that's true. From beginning, start to reading Taoism, because Taoism in China is for the intelligent, which don't happy in the real life world, so they go to the countryside where he become Taoist. We always have the two different philosophy. Confucius is the in-life philosophy. Taoist is outside. So it's like we can go and we come back. That's maybe our Chinese, we cannot explain. We say, okay, it's like that. Okay, wait, I come to myself. I be quiet. The life is like that.
Yes, it's actually what exactly I feel looking at your work, or living together with your works. It's that you understand the troubles of this life, but you find still the beauty. Yeah. And can you maybe tell me, when was this realization, after all your experiments with the ink paint, coming back to the Chinese roots, but when was this exact moment when you started to paint like a bit of photography technique, just painting the light positions, on the raw canvas?
Okay. I said I started the breakout Chinese character. I do installation work. I do ink work. In this moment, it's like I'm open myself to try into Swiss culture, because it's a very abstract work here. Everybody do abstract or minimalist work. I try to to really myself, like the Chinese character,
To fit
brought
in,
to
yeah.
fit in Switzerland. And after little by little, I still feel the world is not like that. I like politics. I'm observe the world. I'm not the one who just look at art. I like to look what happened in the world. The things I cannot just the abstract work is like I bound my eyes, don't look at the world anymore. So I thought it's not enough. I have to draw in something more reality to talk about what I'm thinking of the world. So I started a little bit to start drawing the figurative by ink, firstly.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2006, I go back to China, and I did a show there.
Was it this
In Shanghai Quick Art Center. And during prepared expo, I did this border work. I had 1 month in Shanghai. And finally the memory coming, my Chinese past life.
Because for the Shanghai show, that was the objects of everyday, right? If I remember well, it was the red rouge, right? It was your bag, which you use for your children. I think it was really your everyday life.
Yes.
And suddenly
wrote.
you start to turn to your memory.
No, during I do that for 1 month, I was in Shanghai every day.
Wow.
And this, I'm alone. For first time after married with my husband coming here with children, it's the first time after married.
Freedom.
I'm free. I'm free, yes.
Yes.
I'm myself. Nobody come. I'm every day myself to do. I'm finding the memory coming. I'm in China, but I'm still in the both. I'm not really Chinese anymore. So this memory come back. When I come back to Switzerland, I open my photo box before I start really emotionally. I say, oh my God, my past life is just like that. This, I don't think anything about art, what form or what style. I just started drawing. I started drawing the small photos. And I did 12 drawing, small A4 drawing.
Your school time, right?
My school time, my past, my parents, everything, my past, which with the photograph. Small photo, like small, very small photo. And I did this drawing. I showed for the people. Everybody's so surprised because they only know my abstract work. They don't know. I draw really figurative portrait like that. And that's very surprising. Everybody talk. Finally, the directress of the Kunsthalle Bill heard it. She came to visit me. I showed her. She liked it. She said, what do you do? I said, I really want to do all this work on painting. She said,
Go
1 year
ahead.
later, I invite you to do a solo show in
Nice.
Kunsthalle. So there I start to paint. Yeah.
And that was the way how you found your special technique.
Yes, because I draw it. Could I take time to draw? I was the teacher of drawing in China. We draw it as a Russian. I don't know, do you know how in art school in Russia, as we do, just an apple, we have a light, we have drawn for 2 weeks, only this apple. I mean, the light, the shadow, the
Semi-shadow.
reflect, everything. So we draw. It's not a photo. The photo is different. It's really we have to draw this with different light, different. We take the time. It's incredible. And the teacher asked with small, different stilo pencil.
Yep.
From
HB,
2B until HB until 1H. And even the light, we have to draw it. So with this, I get tired. It's boring.
But it was a good school for you, as it turns out, right?
The both. I say it's everything. When it's like the everything is good, when you eat too much, it's become bad. So I dislike that. This finally, when drawing this kind of drawing, this moment the hand come back is I realize I cannot take out from my life for that. It's part of my life, which I can use the pencil to do drawings more like that. Of course, when I draw, because of 12 years abstract work, I draw differently. So when I draw really contemporarily that we don't have, as when I draw as a school, have a lot of nuance. It's just black and white. I draw gray and white. But the things still there. So I really I found my only way is not I try, it's the life take me to this way. So I also paint the contrary. So that means I draw in the shadow.
Yes.
When I paint the light.
Yes, exactly like photography. You're very well known, or like your icon of the works are the clouds, surely. And how did you actually came to this idea, to take a single cloud from the sky, to separate it again, from the whole mass or like the whole float of clouds? What is it for you?
Cloud is never I never finished the talk. This understand the cloud. That's why I will continue to paint this cloud. My studio was in the top of my house. I have the glass in the roof. So when I draw, always the cloud pass the way in front of my eyes. And sometimes I've stopped it. It's like myself is there. Because a lot of time, in this time, my parents still in life. I'm still missing a lot of China. All my past holiday, I go back to China to visit China. It's like, I cannot go, but the cloud can go. Like the cloud gave the message. So finally one day, I say the cloud is myself. So I paint the cloud as a portrait.
It's interesting because for me, cloud is also like the substance, like this form of a breath. For example, if you make a breath in a cold day, you also have like this cloud forming. And I think that in China, they believe that breath is also have a special symbology, right? To have a breath. So it's actually a way of a portrait in a certain way, right? That each cloud is different. Each cloud has a different characteristics. And
I painted really the cloud as a portrait, and also the cloud finally changes so quickly. Every second, half second, they change.
How do you actually handle that? When you paint, how do you froze this moment?
I imagine a little bit. Yeah. It's like I fix the moment of our life. Yes. We change. I mean, we get old slowly. But if you see thousands of or humanity of the world, it's just even less than a second. So it's like the cloud. Of course, I did the cloud. It's a big successful. 2 years later, I get a little bit be carefully because I don't want my thinking of cloud become decoration of the people. I don't want to become to say, I want a cloud because it's pretty. So that's why I stopped a little bit. Mm-hmm. I want to to say stop is my cloud, and I'm not to do this cloud because people just to selling or become
to be commercial.
Yes, I want is really my feeling. So I stop a little bit to keep. It's like I keep the feeling like a bomb again. One day we'll be ready. I will do again.
There was a major change last year. I also had a chance to visit your studio, and for the first time, after being inspired by so many monochromic works and loving them, for the first time, I arrived to your studio. I was expecting to see all these works, and then suddenly I see color in your studio. For me, it was a big surprise, and I was also a bit disoriented, why I started with the color. Can you tell me, why color entered into your life? I think it was during your travels to Japan, right?
Yes, after COVID, again, this COVID changes us a lot, many. No, because as I don't have a Chinese passport, I cannot go back to China, and but miss me a lot Asian. So nearly 5 years, I never go back to Asian. Finally, somebody invited me in Japan. I see Japan is not far away from China, it's Asian, so I accept. And I was in Okinawa. It's so colorful. You cannot forget the color. Every day in front of you is green and blue sky, everything. So in the same time, I recognize when I start from 2007, 2008, this kind of painting or drawing is about memory. And this way is going always with my memory. Mm-hmm. Even I paint after Magnolia, I make the Magnolia have a relationship with China. It's always, this color is not no color. It's black, it's white with the candle color, but it's a unique color, no white, no another color. It's like a memory. Mm-hmm. But the memory, I cannot only live in the memory. My life, especially after COVID,
is happening now.
I really recognize my life is here. Even I recognize I have my duty be a Swiss. I give a votation long time ago when they chose me in the Commission of Art of Bill. I was very proud that I'm a Swiss, because if you are not Swiss, you cannot in the commission. But still, this part, it's like I'm Chinese, very important. Of course, today it's still important because I'm Chinese in the blood. But in the COVID, I recognize my right is in Switzerland. I don't have right in another country.
So you also emotionally settled.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so the day life or the today, what I'm living with become very important. Not only Switzerland, Europe. I have right in traveling. Only the right traveling is in Europe. I don't know how it's experienced another. Yeah. Me, if I have anything happen, Europe is my country.
Yes.
So I can't only memory my part of my past part. It's past. I did enough. Today my life start important. I need to start to do something round of me.
So that's how color entered.
Yes.
The work.
But still not color like before. Not a realist color like before.
Yeah.
It's still, sometimes it's one color, And I don't know how to go into it. But
Also, before we speaking a bit earlier with you, you told me that you are looking for a form or like a medium to express your need for figurative art, for portrait. And it's also about now, about happening, what's going on now. And you're also looking for a model, maybe, like who could be that character, in your paintings. Could you maybe get again a bit on that topic? What is it for you, going back from the landscapes, from beautiful magnolias, clouds, sea, again to human? Because even here, like in these beautiful landscapes, we see the product of the human-made nature, right? We have like the cypresses which were brought during the Renaissance. We see the hay which was collected, on the fields and got together, but we have no humans. Yeah. What is your relationship with people in the art?
In the end, all my work is a portrait. In the end, even I paint the bicycle, like I said, the cloud, Magnolia, I'm treating as a portrait. Because really portrait have figure, have eyes, have mouth, nose, is my past life. And my life today, I use as object every day, like a glass, a teapot. I paint all of them as a portrait, but never directly the people around me. Yeah, that's true. That's a question how I do.
Even your self-portrait, you painted a roll of paper, right? Every single year you paint the same roll of paper.
So it's like I'm a defect in front of my life. I'm asking why. That's true. I'm married with a Swiss. My children is mixed. And it's like when I'm ready to paint the people around me today. That's a question. That's true. I'm especially very good for portrait when I was student. My best work is portrait. I get a very good point, and I really wondering I will be a portrait artist. I love the artists like Rembrandt. Also a few artists from Holland. They are all portrait artists. And I really would like to one day back to portrait, but in my way. I don't know. I'm still working.
So much looking forward to that. Cool.
Yeah. Humanity is important. If I could, even this landscape, for me, I'll paint as a portrait. I told you, as a soldier, the trees there. And you think the roll is my roll paper.
Yes.
I mean, still, I gave the life in the object.
I would love maybe also to speak about the role of the people in your life, the important figures, because I believe it was not easy at all for a Chinese young woman also. That's a important factor to get into the art scene in Switzerland. Who were maybe the people who supported you along the way, and who showed you maybe also the direction which to follow?
I must say thanks a lot of people around me. Firstly, of course, my family, my husband, my children. They always love my work and they make me thinking I'm somebody.
They're the first collectors as well.
Yes, they think, I did a good work. Even sometimes I lost the, I send it to ask to get a prize or something. I get lost. I get very sad. But the important is quite. Firstly, I met a woman which talk English when I just arrived in Switzerland, told me how I should to become a member in the Visarte in Switzerland now. Before it's called the Society of Artists in Biel. I pay 30 Swiss francs, and then I can give the work in the end of the year. I gave the work, and they chose I can expose. So this lady from Biel, she just come back from Canada, and she talk English because this time don't have a lot of people talk English. When I arrived in the exposition, she saw me with a baby, and she told me you should do that, you should do that. So that's my first people get support from the Swiss people. And I met Bernard Fibicher and Christine Fibicher. The couple are very kind. They are my neighbor.
Oh.
And their kids quite old, like my kids. In this time, they both living in Biel. Even he working in Valais.
And Bernard Fibicher was also director of Kunsthalle Bern.
Yes.
But to a later
yes,
point.
later on. When I was met him, he's still in working in Valais.
Okay.
And I met them in the park because our children play together. And we talk together, and they say, I understand I'm Chinese. And they say, oh, we been in China. I say, oh, you have been in China. So I show I'm an artist, and I show my work. He get very interested. And so I said, oh, come to visit just the year I know him, have the Casa Documenta, Biennale Turin, Biennale Venice.
Lots of happening.
So it's like a directly lesson, a school of contemporary art for me. And also he bring me visited Swiss artist studio. I remember a few Swiss artist studio. He shows me what he did in Valais. And so it really is a big support that from him to make me understand what happened in Switzerland, what happened in Europe, really the first of contemporary of art.
Cool.
Yes. And 1992, that's where I did the installation of Laozi.
Mm-hmm.
He can invite two artists from Biel. This exposition is called Biennale Bern.
Okay.
Now it not exists anymore. In Bern they have different city. Every city, one curator or curatrice proposed two artists. I think we have 10 artists in this time exposing in the Kunsthalle Pascal. There, he proposed from Biel artist. He proposed René Zech. It's a very great artist, Swiss artist, just died 2 years ago. He's a very good artist. So he proposed him, important. He said, I propose one, nobody know. He liked to do that. He proposed me. So I did my first installation of my life also in Switzerland.
How was the first reaction of Swiss audience?
And they like it. I'm happy. Everybody very happy for this. Of course, nobody know who comes. I don't get the prize. They have gave 3 prize. René Zech get the big prize, of course. But the people start to look at me because my 2 installation work. Yeah, it's like I start to, not the start. I mean, really the people look at me from Bern, or the galleries look at me from this moment.
So Bernard Fibicher was also an introduction, like this bridge to the institutional world, right?
Yes.
Of Swiss art scene. And who was this bridge who introduced you to the art market? Because you're also a very unique artist, as I must say. You are successful in both directions. You are in art institutions, you already had some major museum shows, but also at the same time, you are every year at Art Basel, you are at other fairs, and you are very much loved by the collectors. So people really collect you and buy you. So who was this bridge who introduced you to this art market?
This I must thank Gisele Linder. It's a chance to meet her. It's 2007, I think. She planned to expose in the fair of Shanghai. She looking for somebody help her to Chinese who help her to.
Was it Westband or?
Now it's called. No, it's not Westband. It's 021, but it's not called 021. But in this area, it's a Swiss guy, Robert, who organized. And have a few Swiss gallery participate in there. So she looking for someone talk Chinese. And again, Bernard Fibicher say, I know somebody
One
talk
fantastic
Chinese.
Artist.
He don't say that. He just say, I know somebody who talk Chinese.
Yeah.
And Gisele met me. And Gisele recognized I'm also artist. So show me what you're doing. I showed her. She immediately liked my work.
What was that? What were you drawing?
It's before go to Shanghai.
Okay, so that was still with characters, right?
And now is a ink figurative object, ink work. So she immediately bring to Art Basel, and the people like it. I saw all the work. So since there. And of course, I go to Shanghai with her. And when I come back, I receive the invitation from Kunsthalle Biel. And we start work until today. Still, I work with her, yes.
And this year, Gisele celebrates 40th anniversary.
Yes.
Right. Are you preparing something special for this exhibition?
I did, going to be the 8th of May. Is my time to show two works. I think she do two weeks by time. One artist bring one or two works, and until 24th of August is the bigger opening.
Yep.
For her 40 years, and all this work which we expose there going to be all exposed together. Yes.
Beautiful. Mingjun, we had a chance to work now in Westbund in Shanghai last year, and it was a great success. I'm very thankful for that. It was my long year dream to work with you. And
thanks.
And end of this year, we are planning to have an exhibition in Zurich for the first time. And I know that you have some collectors from Zurich who already collect your work, but what is your maybe idea? What is your message that you want to address to Zurich audience?
Thanks for inviting me to do a solo show in Zurich, because Switzerland is a special country, have different language. The different language not especially meet each other, so it's like exposing another country than which I exposed. I'm preparing now. I wish everything's new. And as we talked, I did a lot of subject, flowers, water, land, cloud, whatever. I'm working for. I wish it's surprising for the cloud, the public. I hope it's different than another show. And of course, it's still me. I'm not jumping from something else. It's still me, and it's what I'm thinking. The last 2 or 3 years, my feeling I will put on the new works.
You've been always kind of trying to fit into the Swiss mentality, into being a Swiss, collected by Swiss. But now also you are exposed to the international market, right? And also we see that the art market is changing. You know, like to Art Basel, we have a lot of visitors coming from Asia, from Middle East, from America. And how do you deal with these questions? You know, because I've seen also an immense interest of Chinese public, you know, of Chinese audience in your works, and they were seeing like, oh, she's ours, you know, she's not Swiss, she's actually our Chinese artist. How do you deal with these issues? Like, does it bother you? Do you whom would you like to address? I mean, how different also is your message, you know, when speaking to Chinese audience and when speaking to European audience?
I try to don't think too much of that. I try to just work how I am. It's interesting because for the Chinese people, they see the Chinese culture in my work. I'm happy for that. I'm happy for that because all my work I did in Switzerland. I don't have a lot of studio in a lot of country.
Do you think your art would be different if you would have a studio in China?
Maybe, but I'm not ready because I like day life. I like comfortable day life because you see, I'm living on the house and I work also on the house. I'm like finally wake up in the midnight. I want to work. I can just dress my pajama. I can come to work. I like this feeling. And sometimes I get tired. I just go to the garden to take care of the trees or the earth or whatever. Even today you will see where we eat the salad from
your garden. Wow!
So I like. I think I don't have. I'm not maybe different than a lot of artists. I like the things around me. Yes.
Nice. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Mingjun. I'm looking forward to our exhibition in Zurich.
Me too.